started to arrive in force. Of course, those picket lines were hoping to keep them outside of the stadium. But the teams took the field. Not so many familiar names. Somebody named Dennis Woodbury had a cup of coffee with the Falcons last year. He now finds himself a Washington Redskin. Hello, everybody. I'm Tim Ryan, along with Joe Theismann here at RFK Stadium. And, Joe, I guess most people would say that since the Cardinals have 14 of their regular players back, 7 of them starters, that Gene Stallings has the advantage today.
Well, many people would, but Gene Stallings doesn't see it that way. First of all, on Friday, he had 38 players in, and he was trying to prepare with 2 game plans. One for his veterans if they did come in, one for the replacement team. On the other side, the Redskins have had 60 players in for a while, many of which had spent their time in training camp, so they got familiar with the system. Coach Gibbs put, I guess, as aptly as anybody, he said, coaches are overrated. Players win football games. This afternoon, we get a chance to really see.
Well, in a game like this, Joe, who are the key players at which positions?
Well, obviously, I think it's got to be the quarterbacks. I really do. Here you come expecting to see Neil Lomax and Doug Williams. Doug Williams, the top-rated passer in the NFC. Neil Lomax leading the league in yards per passing. Now you've got Ed Rupert and Sean Halloran. Who are they? What are they? I don't know them that well, but I can tell you one thing. They are the people that are going to make a difference in this football game.
Well, now let's find out what's going on outside as the fans are still trying to come in here. Let's go out to our reporter, James Brown.
All right, Timmy. Well, one of the players who will not be inside today is 15-year NFL veteran Dave Butts, a defensive lineman for the Washington Redskins. And, Dave, only one time in 11 years have you not been inside of RFK, either playing on the field or watching along the sideline. My question is, as the strike goes on, are you starting to melt or wilt in your feelings about going back and crossing the picket line?
For one thing, right now, we went out as a team, and I know Joe knows that we'll come back as a team. We'll have a team vote decide on who goes in. I don't think there's going to be very many people that will be crossing from the Redskins. There might be 1 or 2 at the most, but we decided to go out as a team, and we'll come back as a team.
So the superstars crossing has no effect on you guys?
Well, I look at the superstars right now, the ones that are overpaid to begin with. In other words, they're not going to, it's not going to afford them to stay out because they're not going to gain anything. We're staying out because we want to make sure that the game's good for those people coming after us.
All right, Dave Butts of the Washington Redskins. All right, back to you, Timmy, and Joe Theis.
All right, James, and the Redskins will receive the new skins, the Redskin B team, whatever you want to call them. It'll be Jason Starobsky kicking off for St. Louis. You're looking at Lionel Vitale in the middle, the deep man. And he has the ball at the 12-yard line. Lionel Vitale gets over the 25 to the 26 for Washington. And Vitale, a first-year man out of Nichols State, was stopped by Derek McAdoo, one of the 14 Cardinals who crossed the picket line. McAdoo, a rookie, who came in yesterday. And so the Redskins will come out under the leadership of Ed Rupert, and he will face this St. Louis defensive line. Ron Baum and Gary Doolin on the left side, Mark Goralczyk off injured reserve, and the veteran Curtis Greer on the right side. I'll give you the rest of that lineup following first down. Ends come out of the I formation. This is Vitale. Shook off one stacker, but a fine defensive play by Tony Mays coming up from safety, number 27, a rookie from Kentucky. The rest of that St. Louis defense, the linebackers include rookies Tony Buford and Peter Noga, and the veteran E.J. Jr. The secondary has Mark Mathis and Mark Jackson on the corner. Pro Bowler Leonard Smith will anchor that secondary with Tony Mays, who just made the defensive play. Second down and about 9. Rupert play action, and it's complete to Greg McEwen. Greg McEwen, a rookie from Utah. And let's take a quick look at the Washington offensive team. McEwen had been in the training camp and was a late cut, a man they liked a lot. Lionel Vitale, a running back. Ted Wilson and Derek Shepard are the wide receivers. Joe Caravello, an interesting story at tight end. We'll tell you more about him. And Craig McEwen, who just caught the ball. Along the line, Mark Carlson has the duty against Curtis Greer. Derek Grills, Eric Coyle, Phil Petty, and Willard Schism. An entire rookie front line for the Redskins. Third down and 5. Rupert complete to McEwen again, and a first down Washington at their own 43-yard line. Jimmy Carter, number 52, made the stop for St. Louis.
Well, this is a situation, Tim, where I feel like the Redskins probably have a little bit of an advantage. They have a unusual formation. You see the back come out of the backfield. Rupert does a fine job of just going to the man. They're in one-on-one coverage, makes a nice catch. Now, you can say what you want about these men not being the A team or the B team or whatever. They still are football players, many of which have just missed the opportunity to play in the National Football League by just a little bit. And here's their chance to showcase it.
That's certainly the case with Craig McEwen. He feels that way. He thinks this is his chance to prove that he can play as a regular. Vitale on first down. Got about a yard, and Tony Buford from Tulsa, St. Louis free agent, made the stop, number 50.
In talking to the Redskin coaches, they feel like their offense is going to have to control the game for them. Defensively, they just aren't quite sure exactly what they're going to wind up facing. Talking to Richie Pettibone, defensively, he wants to play it a little soft, a little cautious, see what the other team's going to do. Offensively, Joe Gibbs, of course, is the head coach. He wants to feel like his offense can go out and take charge of this game.
Gene Stallings says his defense will blitz a lot. They'll be coming all day long. Second down. Again, Rupert, intended for McEwen, almost picked off the fingertips of McEwen, who couldn't quite catch up to the ball. And Leonard Smith with a diving attempt to make the interception. It'll bring up third down.
What you keep seeing is McEwen getting involved, and part of that is because he was real close to making this football team. And I think Rupert's got to feel comfortable with it, and Gibbs has got to feel very comfortable calling plays where he knows McEwen can get his hands on the football. It's somebody he trusts.
Third down, 8 to go. Your one-back offense of the Redskins. Flag is down. Rupert with a lot of time, but nobody to throw to. Then finally takes it out of bounds near midfield, short of the first down marker. Forced out by Mark Mathis, cornerback number 38. And the flag on the play.
That's going to be a holding penalty on Carlson against Curtis Greer. Actually a takedown, really. It's a big job for him to try and block Curtis Greer.
Mark Carlson had an interesting comment about that task. The rookie from Southern Connecticut State. He said, you know, I'm glad that he's there. He said, if I was playing against another replacement player, nobody would remember it.
Well, I don't think he wants to be remembered.
Holding, number 61 offense, penalty decline, fourth down.
Well, they charged it against Willard Schism for holding, but Carlson's comments hold true. He said, if I have a good day against Curtis Greer, I can prove that I belong in this league. So I think it's a good attitude to take out there.
It's really the attitude that a lot of these players have taken. When you talk to them during their replacement practices, they felt like this was their one and only chance possibly to showcase themselves in the National Football League.
Fourth down, the punter is Jack Weil. Deep man is Vai Sikahema, one of the veterans, a short punt. And it will be down at about the 22-yard line by the Redskins. And when we return, it'll be the Cardinals' ball.
It's the Subaru year-end clearance. The greatest Subaru deals in Subaru history. Stupendous Subaru savings. Hold it.
Instead of a great deal of hype, Subaru gives you a great deal. Up to $1,500 factory cash back or 3.9% financing. Great deals on just about every model, including a wide range of Subarus under $10,000. Up to $1,500 back or 3.9%. With cars and deals that good, you don't have to shout.
Make red. Be red. Make blue. Be blue. Make colors as bright as light. Make colors feel like colors feel.
The brilliant colors of life. Trust RCA to bring them to you on Precision Performance Big Screen TV. Only from RCA. The most trusted name in electronics.
It doesn't matter where. I looked up and there was no more ceiling, no more roof. It doesn't matter when.
We didn't know where to turn.
The All-State Catastrophe Team stands ready. A team of experts around the country ready to converge on any disaster.
My All-State adjuster was here on the spot.
The All-State adjuster showed me that he had the compassion for a person that really needs it.
Leave it to the good hands, people.
We are in good hands.
You're in good hands.
With All-State.
That's for sure.
A member of the Sears Financial Network.
Tim Ryan and Joe Theismann on a breezy sunny afternoon at RFK Stadium. It is less than half full here. The normal capacity 55,000. Some fans still coming in, slowed somewhat by the picket line. But this will be the first time in 160 games they have not had a sellout at RFK for a Redskins football game. First down, St. Louis at their 22-yard line. The quarterback is Sean Halloran, the man who followed Doug Flutie at Boston College. The pitch to Earl Farrell. The veteran is dumped immediately. Good defensive play by number 95, Dan Benish, the right tackle from Clemson, a veteran of the Atlanta Falcons. And defensively for Washington, Alec Gibson, Ted Karras on the left side, Benish and Steve Martin, the right defensive end. Kimmel, Wilson, and Curtis are the linebackers, not names that are household names. Mitchell, Etherly, Jackson, and Danny Burmeister, the starting secondary. And as we pointed out, the Redskins do not have a veteran in uniform today. They have been solid so far in staying out. Second down and 14. Roderick Sargent, reserve fullback, starting today for the Cardinals. Second-year man from Baylor. Got about maybe 3 on the play. Offensively, Sean Halloran, the quarterback, Farrell and Sargent, the running backs. Roy Green starting despite his injured hamstring with the rookie Adrian McBride. William Harris, Ray Brown, Charlie Vatterott, Keith Radisich, Lance Smith, and Tom Welter. You have 2 veterans in effect there because Ray Brown, while cut this year during their regular training camp, started 4 games for St. Louis a year ago.
Not only that, this is a situation in the football game that Gene Stallings was concerned with. You may have J.T. Smith and Roy Green in the football game, but do you have somebody who can get them the football? Now he gets a chance to find out on 3rd and 10.
Well, the Redskins had Skip Lane in the lineup, but now Burmeister has come back in. Well, Lane has also stayed in. Burmeister and Lane are the deep safeties here. An unusual defensive alignment on 3rd and 10. And the pass is complete to Green. That was interesting, Joe. They had 2 safeties back about an extra 5 yards, and I gotta believe that was intended as respect for this man, Roy Green.
I think what they've done is they've watched Roy Green play football. You see there's nobody on him. He's the second one in on the left from your, on the right from your screen. You watch him go right down. J.T. Smith comes on the outside. Roy Green hooks up, and Halloran does a nice job of firing the ball. Now that could be a problem for the Redskins if they can get the ball to Roy Green and J.T. Smith.
They're 2 regular starters at wide receiver for the Cardinals. First down. Halloran swings it out to Farrell. And Farrell gets close to another Cardinal first down. He's stopped by Benish, number 95, ranging over from right tackle. Benish, a 5-year man from Clemson, who played last year with Atlanta, was cut during the season, but a man who's had a considerable NFL experience.
Well, Earl Farrell, you know, he was 3rd behind Herschel Walker and Roger Craig last year in receptions by a running back. He caught 56, so to see him catch the football is not unusual. Although the St. Louis fans remember last week he dropped one in the end zone that would have won the game for him. He's the kind of guy who's going to play a big part in this football game.
Second leading receiver on the Cardinals a year ago. William Harris at tight end jumps to make the strong side right. This is Farrell running that way. He is met at the line of scrimmage and stacked up by Eric Wilson, the linebacker, and Steve Martin, the right defensive end. Steve Martin, a rookie from Jackson State. Eric Wilson from Maryland, was drafted by Green Bay in 1985 and had a look with the Buffalo Bills.
You know, one of the things you can't teach in a game when you put players together after 10 days is pursuit angles. I wouldn't be surprised as this game goes on, you may see somebody come back the other way with a reverse, maybe a broken field run, with everybody running to one side of the field to the other.
Second down and a long 9. Halloran going deep for Roy Green. Incomplete. On the coverage was Dennis Woodbury, number 41. And Woodbury may have got a fingertip on that ball.
Richie Pettibone making a decision to blitz, which means Woodbury and Green are one-on-one. Now, it's pretty windy down on the field. You see Woodbury go up and just tick that ball right at the end away from Green's fingers. I've played in this stadium for 12 years, and probably this afternoon is the windiest I have felt it down on the field. It swirls a little bit. When the ball gets up in the air, it does funny things.
There's Dennis Woodbury. I covered a game last year in which Woodbury, playing for Atlanta against Miami, intercepted Dan Marino twice, playing as a nickelback. So he's had some NFL experience and showed it there, although Green had a step on it. Third down, Halloran under pressure. And the first sack of the day from Ted Karras, nephew of Alex Karras, and his father Ted Sr. also played in the NFL for a number of years. And he is hoping that he can show something today to keep himself in the NFL. He's out of Northwestern, 23 years of age. So the Cardinals will have to punt. First sack of the day goes to the Redskins.
I think if there's one area of the football game that the coaches really have to wait and see what the athletes can do, it's the kicking game. Redskins have had woeful problems on their short kicking game, field goals, extra points. But how do you teach people to cover angles and lanes when you've got such a small amount of players to work with?
Cardinal punter is Mark Royals from Appalachian State. Derek Shepard fields it at the 10. He can fly. For Derek Shepard down to the 17-yard line.
Well, this is the point I tried to point out, is you just can't teach people to stay in their lanes. There you see Peter Noga down. Now it's just a free-for-all. Everybody's caught bunched up, and when you get a quick man with the football, this is a great individual effort. He makes a fine move right here and continues to stay on his feet. You can't quit. Look at this guy go.
There was a flag on the play against St. Louis, obviously declined, and the touchdown was probably saved by the punter. Ken Sims made the tackle, but the punter, Mark Royals, slowed him up.
Actually, if he gets his teammates out of in front of him, there he makes the move right here. Now, he's got players out in front of him, makes a nice cut. Now, why are all these... See, here's the thing you can't teach. All these guys are looking to block somebody behind them. Nobody's going to catch him. Get out in front of him. Get out of his way.
So the Redskins have a scoring opportunity here early in the first period at the 17-yard line. Vitale is dropped for a loss. Ron Baum, number 78, a rookie defensive end from Illinois, cut by the Seahawks during training camp, made the play behind the line. Detroit in front of Tampa Bay, 7-0.
Did you say a rookie defensive end? They're all somebody out there, isn't it?
Well, most of these guys are. On St. Louis, they got a few vets.
They got a few vets, you're right. The Cardinals are going to want to come after Rupert down here. They just keep blitzing and blitzing anyway, and they want to put pressure on him.
Second and a long 12. Rupert, good catch by McEwen, and the ball then dropped, and it is incomplete. Had it in his hands. Coverage by Leonard Smith, the tough, strong safety who returned to camp, first of all, to open the St. Louis floodgates. He broke up the play with his hit on McEwen. It'll be third down. A long 12 for the Washington Redskins. The ball at the 20-yard line of St. Louis.
Here they come again.
Boy, they got everybody up there but two. 10 players on the line of scrimmage. And it paid off as somebody got a hand on the ball intended for Ted Wilson. The ball tipped away at the line of scrimmage will bring up fourth down. And it was Dwayne Anderson, a blitzing safety, who got a hand on the ball.
You know, you think about the field goal unit and the extra point unit of the Redskins. They've had so much trouble. How much poorer can this unit be with a little bit of work? This could be an area of the football team where Joe Gibbs may be able to find some help. John Cowan is the center, and that's a problem the Redskins have had.
Brendan Tobin. And it is wide. Brendan Tobin from the University of Richmond and the Richmond Ravens, a semi-pro league. but a Gaelic name kicked it sideways, and we are still scoreless.
In the past 2 years, 500,000 more Americans switched to Liberty Mutual for their auto, home, and life insurance. More Americans are living in homes, getting into cars, and for workers' compensation, more American workers are insured by Liberty Mutual than anyone else. Because Liberty Mutual people do the job right.
America believes in liberty. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
The Great American Face. Rugged, distinctive. The Great American Razor. Atra. Solid. Pivots for closeness. The Great American Face deserves the Great American Shave. Atra. Only from Gillette.
In Canada, the rivers run a little colder. Some people say you can taste it in the beer. Molson Gold. Molson is Canadian beer.
Come on along, I'll take you to the lullaby of Broadway.
Hickory and Ballyhoo. The lullaby of Broadway.
And in the center of it all
is the Milford Plaza.
Stay at the Milford Plaza Hotel with cocktail dinner and breakfast for $46 per person. Discover why we are the lullaby of Broadway.
The Milford Plaza is the lullaby of all Broadway.
And this is James Brown live here at RFK Stadium, and the crowd size isn't the only thing that's off in today's game. Concession sales are down bad as well. As a matter of fact, what you see here now is exactly what took place at the beginning of the game. No fans. And why do you think, Joe or Charles, that sales were off so?
Well, low crowd turnout. Maybe the fans are getting back at the players and getting back at management by taking out on us. Not buying anything.
The strike definitely has a big effect here. The people just aren't buying stuff.
All right, so not only crowd size, but vending sales are off considerably. Let's go back upstairs to Tim and Joe.
All right, James, it is first down here for the Cardinals at the 20-yard line as Brendan Tobin missed a 37-yard field goal attempt wide to the right. And so the Cardinals able to get out of that after the 78-yard punt return by Derek Shepard. Roderick Sargent plows it out to the 30-yard line, and he'll be very close to a first down, and indeed has advanced the sticks. Roderick Sargent, normally good, strong special teams player, backup running back, getting some time today as he and Farrell, who has been moved to halfback for today's game, are the two veteran running backs available to Gene Stallings, along with Vi Sikahema, also primarily a special teams man. This is Farrell. Farrell running well, gets out to the close to the 40-yard line. Pickup of about 7, maybe 8 on the play. Bobby Curtis, number 90, tripped him up.
This is also Earl Farrell's first opportunity to play halfback. It's something that Gene Stallings wanted to try and experiment a little bit with. Now he has an opportunity. It's not that he wants to replace Stump Mitchell, but he's looking for somebody to help Stump out a little bit as the year goes on. Give him a chance to take a few breathers and not try and lose too much when he comes out of the ballgame.
If the year goes on. Farrell had 71 yards against Dallas, matching a career high rushing for him. Farrell again trying for the first down, and it looks like he stopped short as the linebacker in the middle, number 59, Eric Wilson from Maryland, made the stop. Wilson was teaching before he decided to give it another shot, gave up his teaching position, and came out for the Redskins replacement squad. And here he is getting at least a moment in the sun.
I wonder if he can get the job back. What do you think?
Well, probably get the teaching job back. I'm not sure whether he'll get the football job back if the regulars return. You know, Earl Farrell playing like many of the other Cardinals. They have first and 10 at their own 41-yard line as his reasons for returning. A little razzle-dazzle here. Halloran going deep for Green. Double coverage, and it's off the fingertips of Green. Incomplete, and Green slow to get up at the goal line. Coverage by Skip Lane and Dennis Woodbury. And Lane coming over to help out Woodbury, as twice they've tried to go all the way to Roy Green.
Well, Roy Green's nursing a pulled hamstring anyway, and here he's got to open it up. Now, Skip Lane comes over, does a fine job of helping Woodbury out. Obviously, the Cardinals would like to get on the board in a hurry. That's just some great defense. It looked like his hand was right in between Roy's when he went for it. We may not see Roy Green the rest of this day. It's a cool afternoon, and that's not very good on hamstrings.
There you see Green going slowly back to the Cardinal bench. Troy Johnson has come in to replace him, number 87. 2nd and 10, St. Louis from their own 40. That's complete to J.T. Smith. Shakes off Woodbury, and Smith down the sideline is caught by Lane at the 22-yard line. Make it Jackson, number 37, Charles Jackson, putting the stop on him. But J.T. Smith has a first down, St. Louis, at the 21-yard line of Washington.
This is just an excellent job by Halloran. What happens is you watch all the Redskins blitz. You see everybody in his face. Now, J.T. Smith does the right thing, runs a little break off, but there he does an excellent job on Woodbury. And now it's just a foot race, really. J.T. not necessarily the fastest guy in the league, but he's played a long, hard time for the Cardinals.
And now Smith goes limping to the sideline. So both of the regular veteran receivers of the Cardinals having to take some rest time because of injuries to their legs. Ron Brown has come in, number 83, a first-year man from Colorado, drafted last year by the Giants. Played in the CFL after he was cut by New York. First down, Cardinals. That is Sargent plowing his way close to the 10. Let's see where they spot the ball. They'll spot it at the 11-yard line, and that will be very close to a first down, and may indeed be yet another Cardinal first down. It is.
That could well be. The area of the offensive line is when you get the guys running the ball well up the middle. The offensive line's doing a good job. That could be the strongest part of St. Louis's attack, particularly now with Green and Smith out.
First down, Cardinals at the Washington 11. Farrell picks up about 4. Running straight ahead behind Radicic, the center, and the right guard, Lance Smith. Skip Lane made the tackle, number 39. You know, Farrell having to answer the question, as most of these veterans in St. Louis have, why he crossed. He said, well, I felt I owed owner Bill Bidwell for sticking with me during my difficult time in 1985. He had a drug problem. He acknowledged it. He got help from the owner, and he said he also had been through the strike in 1982 and didn't want to have to go through another one. Second down. Intended for Troy Johnson, broken up at the goal line by Woodbury. It'll leave third down for the Cardinals.
This is another one of those quick slant patterns, but you see Halloran's looking to his right and then comes back to the left. You just can't do that on this type of a pass pattern. You see the ball go behind the receiver, Troy Johnson, and it's a very, very timing-oriented pattern. You just can't take time to look right and come back left.
6 defensive backs in for Washington now on third down and 7. To the corner, caught, but over the end line. Incomplete. Johnson caught the ball, but he was out of the end zone. A flag on the play. Michael Mitchell had the coverage for the Redskins, number 46. And illegal procedure is signaled against St. Louis. Fourth down was upcoming, and so the Redskins will have a decision here.
I don't think there's a decision. You've got to decline this. You don't want to give him another shot at a touchdown.
Illegal formation. There was no eligible receiver on the left side of the line of scrimmage. Penalty be declined. Fourth down.
So fourth down upcoming for St. Louis, and they will try the field goal for the Cardinals. The place kicker is Jason Starofsky from Tulsa. He was a walk-on at Tulsa. Got an opportunity to become the place kicker. Had a successful career there. And Starofsky misses. So we've had 2 field goal tries missed, and we are still scoreless with 3:35 to play in the first period at RFK.
Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. If you can, Take a little time from your busy day to give encouragement to someone who's lost away. Or would I be talking to a stone if I asked you to share a problem? Stone, we can change things if we start giving.
Now, every time you use MasterCard, we'll donate money to 6 worthy causes, and it won't cost you a thing. Look for the balance and help choose where the money goes.
Reach out and touch somebody's hand.
Choose to make a difference. Choose MasterCard.
Here's Jerry with a new car.
What'd you pay for it?
About $5,500.
Are you kidding?
Does it run on batteries?
What's it made of? Gray paper?
Does it have a motor? Does it have a motor?
Can I kick the tires?
Will the door come off the hinges?
Hey, guess what? It's a Subaru!
Oh, a Subaru!
Subaru!
Only one inexpensive car is built like a Subaru. Introducing the Subaru Justy. Inexpensive and built to stay that way.
Such a smart boy. Oh.
Continues as the Dallas Cowboys face the New York Jets on CBS Sports. Next.
More photographers than normal.
You think this game doesn't mean something. This is the reaction of Gene Stallings to the missed field goal. Yes, he's disappointed. I think he really thinks he wants to get on the board first because there's no telling how many points they're going to need to win this game.
Well, a game counts in the standings, and that has been imprinted on the minds of all of these players out here, whether they're just hoping for a look at the NFL, a chance to stick in this league, or whether they're here for the one day in the sun. That's complete out the left side. Let's go to Brent Musburger in New York for an NFL update.
Well, Tim, your game is not the only one with kicking game problems. So watch this son of football follies, if you will. NFL Films will love this piece of film. Incidentally, Detroit should think about leaving this team on the field. They're off to one of their best starts in recent memory. Right now, they lead the Buccaneers 17-0. Let's go back to Tim.
All right, Brent. We have a 9-yard gain here out to Anthony Allen, and it is second and a long yard. Lionel Vitale picks up the first down for the Redskins, close to the 32 of Washington. Tony Buford made the tackle, the Tulsa linebacker, number 50.
The execution so far this afternoon on both sides of the line of scrimmage has been quite good.
It has been. It's been interesting, mainly on the special teams is where we've seen a kind of sloppy play. That punt return, you pointed out, they weren't blocking in lanes. And on the 2 field goal tries, whether the wind was a factor, I'm sure it was. Well, we'll give the kickers the benefit of the doubt, but 2 missed field goals. Otherwise, you're right. The play has been fairly solid and very professional. Play action, Ruber. Got a man open, and it's caught by Wilson. Wilson breaks a tackle and out of bounds at the 44-yard line. Ted Wilson from Central Florida, a 10th round pick of the Redskins this year, but cut during the regular camp.
Well, he was with the Redskins till the end. Here you see a little play action fake. What's going to happen? Rupert is going to fake to Vitale. Now, again, we talked about those pursuit lanes. The Cardinals take the bite. Now, he does a nice job of turning. Wilson makes a good catch. I mean, these guys are making good catches. They're making good runs with the ball. Here he gets as much as he can and steps out of bounds.
He's not making good tackles on that play, no.
That's another technique thing that you really can't. That's like special teams. You really can't concentrate on it.
Word on J.T. Smith, a sprained ankle. So we don't know whether we'll see him back or not. First down from the 45 of St. Louis. Rupert rolling, finds Wilson again, and Wilson picks up about 7 yards on the play, close to the 38 of St. Louis, where Mark Mathis made the stop. Number 38 from Liberty, the Division II AA player.
One thing about this type of a football game, Tim, is that the coaches have to go back to basics. They have to just give them basic pass patterns, basic blocking assignments, and a lot of times you see very simple execution, but it's very effective in moving the football.
2nd and 3 for Washington. In the 1 setback formation, it's Vitale. He's got a good hold. Vitale got to the 35, but up quickly came Tony Mays, the safety from Kentucky, to prevent a longer gain, but he does have first down, Washington.
had a chance to be in training camp with Lionel Vitale, and he got very fast. He put the ball on the ground a little bit. He fumbled a little bit, which discouraged the coaching staff, I think, from keeping him. But he looks at this as another opportunity to try and show he can play with the big boys, or the big boys.
Quick pass out the left side with a rush on. The pass intended for Anthony Allen. The blitz on from the Cardinals, and Rubert unloaded that in a hurry. A flag down on the play. It may have been St. Louis was a little early. New Orleans in front of the Rams 13-0 in the second period. We have 1:30 remaining in the first quarter here at RFK Stadium.
That was a hot dog box blown around.
No flag down.
No flag. Just a hot dog box laying around out there.
2nd and 10. Wilson in motion. Rubert. And that is incomplete at the 25-yard line. Intended for Anthony Allen. But Mark Mathis had a great chance to intercept for St. Louis, and he dropped the ball.
Well, that was just a simple case of Ed Rubert reading the blitz and Anthony Allen not following through on the pass pattern. He stopped once he made his break, and the ball was out in front of him. That's an excellent move by Rubert and a poor route run by Allen.
Jimmy Carter and Dwayne Anderson come in defensively for St. Louis. Carter the linebacker, Anderson an extra defensive back.
Here they come again. Here comes everybody.
10 players on the line of scrimmage for St. Louis. Rubert gets good time. Throws for Anthony Allen. Touchdown. Ed Rubert from Louisville. 34-yard touchdown pass to Anthony Allen.
So often when you bring everybody on a blitz, now there you'll see it. Rubert gets excellent protection, sits in the pocket, and just hangs the ball up. Anthony Allen running a corner pattern in and out, and makes a nice catch. Now here, this is where it gets exciting.
Brendan Tobin, pronounced Tobin, spelled Gaelically, T-O-I-B-I-N, and he has it. Kicked it kind of on the flat, but he kicked it through. And the Washington Redskins have opened the lead here, 7-0, 1:20 to play first period.
You'd no more settle for a flake in your hair than a spot on your tie. You passed the test, you could grooming, has the look of success. Your head and shoulders above the rest. One flake can mean dandruff. Regular shampoos may rinse flakes, but Head & Shoulders protection goes to the source to help stop flakes. And that's doing it right. Your head and shoulders above the rest.
Life is a catch-22. When I want to impress a big client, I feel stress. And what do I get? Body odor. Then I'm not at my best, so I get more stress, more body odor. So I use Safeguard every day. Fact. Safeguard can fight the bacteria that causes body odor. Helps protect me no matter who I'm trying to impress. With Safeguard, even when I'm under stress, there's a part of me that's very calm.
Every day, millions of batteries die an early death. They die in flashlights, cameras, radios, simply because they lost some life waiting to be bought. But only new Duracell battery packs have a freshness state that guarantees they'll live a long life, not a short one. Freshness dating from Duracell.
Back here at RFK Stadium, a ticket today was the easiest thing to get in here and watch these replacement Redskins. But two diehard Redskin fans, 8-year season ticket holders, Curtis and Ricardo, what do you think about the replacement game that you're seeing so far?
It's not at the level that I was expecting. I was expecting more at the regular level of the Redskins. But this is more of a high school level football. Right.
Well, is it exciting high school football for you?
I guess it is. They just moved the ball pretty well the last series. They didn't look too well the first two series, but look like we're going to have a pretty good game.
They normally sit up higher, they're down lower. Let's go back upstairs to Timmy.
All right, James. That is Derek McAdoo returning the kickoff for the Cardinals to the 33-yard line. And I'm sure those folks had no problem moving down into better seats today. Might as well take advantage of that opportunity.
Here's a look at that touchdown. Anthony Allen to your left of your screen. He's going to come out now. Don't forget, the Cardinals bring everybody. There's only 2 men back there to cover the entire field. He runs a little corner pattern, little fake in. Rupert does an excellent job of putting the ball up in the air, and he beats Mark Mathis for the touchdown into the corner.
7-0. Washington leads St. Louis. It is first down for the Cardinals, and Sargent stopped right at the line of scrimmage for no gain. Let's go to Brent Musburger again in New York.
Well, Tim, there is a storyline emerging. The kicking game will be critical this afternoon.
All right, Brent, 7-0 Washington here. 2nd and 8. St. Louis with the football at their own 35. Halloran, the quarterback, gets time. And it is cut out the right side by Ron Brown, number 83 from Colorado. And a pickup of maybe 7 on the play. Well, you know, we've seen, as Brent just pointed out, the kicking problems around the league. And I would think this can't be too much of a surprise where you don't get a chance to practice with special teams. They've only been in there for about 10 days, Joe. We're out of time here at the end of the first quarter with the score, the Redskins 7, St. Louis nothing.
Last season, television's favorite private eye met his maker. On Wednesday, October 7th, Magnum's final season begins. Are you ready for a miracle?
I'm Gene Stallings, head coach of the National Football League St. Louis Cardinals. Over the years, I've coached some of the greatest athletes in the NFL, and I know the rewards of victory. But none have been more important to me than my work with this young man, John. When he was born, he was diagnosed to have Down syndrome. In some ways, he would never be like other children. For him, there would never be a chance to play in the National Football League. But over the years, I've seen him grow. He's 24 years old now, and his progress is measured with little victories. The times that we spend together are very special to me. John made this for me, and he made it with a great deal of love. The same kind of love that I have for him. Because you see, John is my son. You ready, Johnny? Let's go right. When you support the United Way, you're saying to people like John, don't give up. We'll give you a helping hand. You can make it. The United Way. It brings out the best in all of us.
This message furnished by the National Football League.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Subaru and by MasterCard. MasterCard International. Master the possibilities.
We are back at RFK Stadium. Tim Ryan and Joe Theismann about to begin the second period on a bright, sunny, and very breezy, cool afternoon here in Washington.
As the coaches prepared for this game, and I think you have to give them a lot of credit for the quality of all that's going on, the one element and the one area they really can't teach very well is that in the kicking game. It really is something that you have to do with pure talent. Either kick returner or field goals or extra points. It's the toughest area to teach, and you were right before when you made the point.
This is Earl Farrell on first down, and he's stopped by Dan Benish after a gain of a yard at most.
And that point being that is going to be the area which we've seen so far in the highlights, which will be the biggest problem for these replacement teams.
Well, unless they stick together for a longer period of time than the regulars, and most of the fans would want them to. If they have time, of course, they can work on those things. But with 10 days to 2 weeks to prepare for a game with mostly brand new players, obviously some elements of the game didn't get the attention they normally would. 2nd and 9. Cardinals shift from the I to the pro set. Halloran. Complete. That is Smith to Brown, pardon me. Ron Brown, number 83. And it is very close to the first down, but now they mark it back about a yard, and it'll leave about a yard to go. 3rd and 1 for the Cardinals. So far, these two quarterbacks have been throwing the ball well. Sean Halloran, Boston College for the Cardinals, Ed Rubert, University of Louisville for the Redskins.
Both of them seeing this as an opportunity to get out and show their wares, something they really didn't get in training camp. Now it's a chance to go out and show the nation what they can do.
Charles Jackson, the safety, number 37, made the stop for Washington.
You see Jim Schaffner signaling in the number 4. Now on Halloran's left wrist, we'll get a shot of that in a little bit. You'll see he has the plays listed. He'll have a number 4, and on that will be a pass or a run or something else. And all he has to do is look at the number from the coach and refer to his little cheat sheet. There it is on his left wrist.
Shades of Tom Matty in the old Baltimore Colts days.
About like that, yeah.
A little different situation then, but similar strategy. Well, some contact made at the line of scrimmage as the Redskins were showing blitz, and both teams have been blitzing a lot, as you might expect.
Encroachment prior to the snap, number 95 defense.
Dan Benish over a little too quickly.
On that's Skip Lane. Now on his wrist, inside on his left wrist, he will have the defensive signals called and taped. As Richie Pettibone, the defensive coordinator for the Redskins, will signal them in. So both teams not taking any chances with just going with their normal system. They've allowed the guys to tape some stuff on. There you see the wristband with the plays. It's a good thing it's not raining, or else they'd all washed off.
1st and 5. Farrell trying to get wide, and with good hard running, picks up a lot more than he deserved. Charles Jackson finally hauled him down, and Earl Farrell doing some real muscling out that left side. New Orleans way in front of the Rams, and Detroit 10 up on Tampa Bay. 1st down for St. Louis at the 32-yard line. So the Cardinals grinding it out here, trying to get down and even things up. They trail 7-0, 12:25 to go first half. Each team missed a field goal, and then Ed Rupert passed 34 yards to Anthony Allen for the Washington score. Broderick Sargent running straight ahead, picks up 7, maybe 8 to the 25-yard line. Charles Jackson again on the stop. He's been a busy man in the secondary, defending against the run, number 37 from Texas Tech.
St. Louis just continues to pound the ball up the middle behind Smith and Vatterott and Radicic. And talking to Keith Radicic, he makes a point that he had a chance to play with either the Redskins or the Cardinals. He chose to go to the Cardinals because he felt like if he played well enough, he'd have an opportunity to make that football team if they do increase the roster size.
He had been cut here, of course, by the Redskins in their regular camp, so he knew what their needs and what their strengths were. This is Sargent. Sargent's got a good hole. Inside the 10 to the 8-yard line, and Jackson again makes the stop for Washington, but the Cardinals are knocking on the door. 17-yard pickup for Broderick Sargent.
Here you see the Cardinals are going to go right at the heart of that Redskin defense. Going to right up the middle where Karras and Benish and Wilson are playing. They get a good surge up front and then a lot of movement up. It seems to be the same problem that the Redskins A team had against Atlanta last week when Gerald Riggs ran up the middle quite a bit.
1st and goal from the 9. His way down close to the 2-yard line. They might spot it at the 1, depending on the knee touch. Yes, it's at the 1-yard line. Good spinning effort by Farrell, an 8-yard pickup.
Now, we talked about having veterans in and not having veterans in. As the game goes on, the team with the more veterans, I think, will have the advantage because they've been in this situation. They're not going to be as apt to get as tired. They've had training camp. They haven't had some time off.
Farrell stopped short of the goal line. Number 90 put the hit on him, Bobby Curtis, linebacker from Savannah State. Football power down in the South, but turns out tons of NFLers. Bobby Curtis getting his shot from Savannah State.
This is one of those, you make the calls. You'll see his helmet will get in the end zone, but you got to get the ball in, and he doesn't quite get the ball over. Or if he does, we couldn't see it.
Ball spotted just outside the goal line. 3rd down. Farrell, touchdown. Earl Farrell. So the Cardinals have moved to within a point. 9:28 to go here in the first half of play at RFK.
This is just pure power football. The whole left side of the Cardinal line is just going to collapse the Redskin line. Now it's one-on-one when you got it back there. It's a mismatch. Reminds me when John Riggins used to go up one-on-one against a defensive back. It's no match. The fullback with the ball is going to take it into the end zone that short distance.
Jason Starobsky from Tulsa will attempt the point after. Halloran holding, and he's got it. Now we have a tie football game in Washington with 9:28 to play, and it's 7-7.
I went to my dentist with the worst pain. He told me about a different medicine. It's in these little yellow pills. Nuprin. Works so well on that pain, no wonder it's great on my awful headaches.
Nuprin. It's not aspirin, not Tylenol. It's ibuprofen. So effective, 2 Nuprin stop headaches better than extra-strength Tylenol.
And Nuprin's gentler on my stomach than aspirin.
Nuprin. Little, yellow, different, better.
It even worked on my worst pain.
Think we're gonna make it? This thing does? Well, at least we're flying back in a 747. Aren't we?
Northwest has an all 747 fleet to and from the Far East.
Yeah. Harry, Kalamazoo Tuesday, I can do that. Memphis Wednesday, I can do that. New York Thursday, I can do that. How am I going to do that?
No matter where you do business, Northwest can fly you there.
It's the Subaru year-end clearance. The greatest Subaru deals in Subaru history. Stupendous Subaru savings.
Hold it! Instead of a great deal of hype, Subaru gives you a great deal. Up to $1,500 factory cash back or 3.9% financing. Great deals on just about every model, including a wide range of Subarus under $10,000. Up to $1,500 back or 3.9%. With cars and deals that good, you don't have to shout.
The #1 team in the nation, Oklahoma, battles longtime nemesis Texas in one of the game's most celebrated rivalries next Saturday on CBS Sports.
Well, yesterday in college football, top-ranked Oklahoma really beat up on Iowa State 56-3. Texas over Rice 45-26. A lot of points scored. Well, next Saturday, CBS Sports presents #1 Oklahoma against Texas live at 2:30 Eastern Time. Judging by yesterday's scores, that celebrated rivalry should produce quite a high-scoring battle. Borowski's kickoff taken by Vitale. A flag is down on the kickoff play as Vitale got to the 22-yard line of Washington. See while they sort this out, and one Redskin player a little slow to get up. Lionel Vitale was drafted in 1985 by the Redskins. Played briefly with the Giants. It is Vitale who was injured. 5'9", 195-pounder from Nichols State. And Vitale feeling, I think, representing many of the aspirations of the players in this game today and around the league in this first Sunday of so-called replacement games. He said, I may never get another shot. As soon as this thing is over, those other players will have their jobs back. This could be it for me. He's one of the percentage, I figure 15 out of the 45 players on each roster. And Vitale's in that group of the 15 that really believes they can and should be playing in the NFL. And like the many other players around the league, Vitale says, hey, this is my shot. I want to make the best of it. You can't fault them for that.
No, you can't. You're dealing with people's dreams, not only economics. It's economics outside the state.
Capacity crowd gives Anthony Allen and Ed Rubert a standing O. They're wearing Redskin jerseys, and that's all that matters to the folks in here at the moment. 88 yards. Ed Rubert from Louisville to Anthony Allen, released earlier by the Atlanta Falcons.
took 2,000 years, but a revolutionary discovery is changing the way men think about coloring their gray hair. It's called Just for Men, from the leader in men's hair coloring. Simply apply Just for Men, and in 5 minutes, shampoo out. Your gray is blended away, leaving your natural-looking color. 5 minutes. Here, look at me. Just for Men leaves your hair looking healthy and fuller, and it won't fade or wash out. Just for Men, in the men's hair care section.
Everybody's talking about a big free offer from Owens Corning. Buy 10 rolls or more of Owens Corning Big Insulation now and get your favorite NFL team jacket free.
In the past 2 years, 500,000 more Americans switched to Liberty Mutual for auto, home, and life insurance because we made their dollars work harder.
America, believes in liberty. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Mom, I'm too young to get heartburn.
But you're not too young for Tums. It's rich in calcium, and our doctor said teenagers need extra calcium in their diet.
As much as their moms do?
Mistress, her every wish fulfilled except one. What made her choose the life of the other woman? Victoria Principal, Mistress, tonight.
Redskin, you'll see Ed Rubert take the snap from center, drop back into what is really a half roll. And they're doing that to protect him. He moves to the right. Now, both the receivers run outs and ups. Leonard Smith has a shot at this ball, but it's even high for him. Anthony Allen makes a fine catch, and now it's a foot race. You'll see Ted Wilson come into the picture to help him out right at the end. But Anthony Allen goes 88 yards with the score.
Joe, you know, Anthony Allen got here about the same time we did. Friday he came in to join the Redskins, and he has now scored 2 touchdowns. This is McAdoo for the Cardinals, returning to the 29-yard line of St. Louis. And let's get a quick report from James Brown.
All right, Tim, thank you very much. Out here amongst the players, I'm hearing word about what could be a major development with respect to the strike. Standing with me now is the executive assistant to Gene Upshaw, the National Football Players Association, Mark Murphy. Mark, the question is, Gene supposedly is ready to say he's ready to back off of free agency and make some strides in the strike. Is that a fact?
Well, of course, Gene's tied up with his grandmother's funeral, but we said all along we're willing to move. There's no one real stumbling block. All the issues are important. We're going to have a player rep meeting tomorrow, and obviously one of the issues we're going to talk a lot about is how can we get these negotiations going. I think what's going on here is bad for the league, it's bad for the fans, and bad for the players, and we want to get the games going on again, and we're anxious to sit down and reach a fair and equitable agreement.
Safe to assume that's the major issue to be discussed.
Well, that's certainly one of the things we'll talk about, but all the issues are important to the players, and we just want to make sure the process gets going.
All right, Mark Murphy of the NFLPA Union. Back to you, Tim.
All right, James Broderick Sargent picked up 8 yards for the Cardinals. It leaves 2nd and 2, and we're at the 36-yard line of St. Louis. Sargent again trying for the first down, and it appears that he has it.
Looks to me like Gene Stallings has decided that the best way to play defense is to keep your offense on the football field. As long as he can keep his offense out there running the ball 5-6 yards and picking up first downs, he's not going to have to worry about that aerial attack of the Redskins. Well, so in essence, he's playing defense while he's on offense.
Well, a good example of that, Joe, is in his last drive that produced their touchdown. They used up 6:52. They used up 11 plays, and it's clear, as you indicate, that's what he's trying to do with his offense. Here's a reverse. Ron Brown, Halloran blocking for him out there, threw a pretty good block, and he is close to a first down. About a 9-yard gain for Ron Brown, the first-year man from Colorado, drafted the Giants a year ago. Joe Kofer made the stop, number 36 from Tennessee.
Well, those are the kind of plays that can happen. As I talked about earlier, you get guys pursuing. You get a team that's really not disciplined on staying home, keeping an eye on the backside. Somebody takes off chasing a running back or a wide receiver, and they come back the other way. You can break a big one. That was excellent defense by the Redskins, though.
Cardinals continue to grind it out effectively on the ground. Trailing 14-7, 6:50 to go in the first half. Temperatures here in the low 50s. Sharp drop the last couple of days in Washington. And after a hard rain yesterday, the sun came out and brought a very stiff breeze this morning, and it's still with us, affecting no doubt the passing and the kicking games on the field, although you wouldn't know it by Ed Rubert, and some of you have every right to say Ed who? Well, 6'5", 225-pounder from Louisville. He's thrown 2 touchdown passes for the Washington Redskins so far this afternoon. And this is Sean Halloran, who followed Doug Flutie at Boston College, and he ran out of time on first down. There'll be a delay of game penalty. 17-14 now as Tampa Bay chips back against the Lions. Cincinnati in front of San Diego, 9-0. Well, the Bears B team beating up on the Eagles B squad, 14-3. No Bears in there, no Eagles in there either, I don't believe.
No, I don't believe so. Nope.
First and 15. Farrell caught behind the line of scrimmage by Dan Benish. Benish, the most experienced of the Redskins, has had himself a fine afternoon. Here's a guy that was a starter for the Falcons, 5-year man out of Clemson. Number 95 was the model for John Madden's All-Madden team.
That's right.
Well, there's the look at, we were just talking with Philadelphia and Chicago. You can see the most came across from the Dallas Cowboys, and the Cardinals right behind with 14. Second down and 12. This is Sargent. Sargent gets to the 45-yard line of the Redskins, and a late hit produces a flag, perhaps a face mask, one or the other, and the flag came late after the player was already down. Jerry Seaman will give us a call, personal foul, and it is a face mask call against the Redskins.
Personal foul, face mask, 15-yard penalty, number 36 defense, first down.
This is another one of those basic plays that you put in when you've just got a little bit of time. A simple draw play, get the lineman out in front. Now right there, you're going to see him get his head torn. Ouch.
Well, they called it against Kofer, but it wasn't Kofer. It was number 58, David Wyndham, who makes the grab there. You see quite clearly.
That's his face looking at you from the back.
Yeah, right. Kofer came in a little late on the hit, but they called him for the face mask. Nonetheless, 15 yards, and so the Cardinals at the Washington 30. Earl Farrell gets about 3 yards before he's stacked up by Eric Wilson, the linebacker, number 59. Halloran is 5 for 9 passing, but Gene Stallings, happy with the running attack of his veterans Farrell and Sargent, continues to keep it on the ground. We have an injured Redskin down. That might be Dan Benish. And he is, we just commented, no, he's on his feet. It's not Benish. You see him standing up. He's been their most effective defender. Alec Gibson, it appears to be, the left defensive end from Illinois. Number 96.
You know, the Redskins on defense are going to have to make an adjustment. They can't let the Cardinals just take the ball and keep it as they have, other than the 1 or 2 plays this quarter where the Redskins have had the football, and just drive it down the field on them. The only way that they're going to be able to stop that inside running game is to bring people up in blitzing situations and put pressure on the running game. A lot of people figure that blitzing a quarterback or blitzing an offense means that you want to stop the pass. That's not true. You really bring your safeties up and get them in run support so that you can shut down a running game. And in the way this game is and the talent that's on the field, I would have to say that the Redskins are going to have to put some pressure on to stop that running game and make the Cardinals put the ball in the air.
You're talking about the running talent, the experienced talent of the Cardinals.
That's really where they have their veterans
hurting
now, with Farrell and Sargent back there and McAdoo. They've got people that have been on the roster, and up front with Smith and Brown, who have played on their offensive line. They're moving that Redskin defensive front out.
Well, they're giving long attention here to Alec Gibson. Let's hope that it's not a serious injury. And we remind you that we have more NFL action ahead. The Dallas Cowboys and the New York Jets later in our doubleheader game. We'll be back here in Washington with the Redskins on top 14-7.
Here's Jerry with a new car.
What'd you pay for it?
About $5,500.
Are you kidding?
Does it run on batteries?
What's it made of? Crepe paper?
Does it have a motor? Does it have a motor?
Can I kick the tires?
Will the door come off the hinges? Hey, guess what? It's a Subaru!
Oh, a
Subaru! Subaru!
Only one inexpensive car is built like a Subaru. Introducing the Subaru Justy. Inexpensive and built to stay that way.
Such a smart boy. Oh.
Being grown-up is more complicated than playing grown-up. That's why Nationwide Insurance has simplified financial planning with our Universal Life policy. It's a new generation of life insurance that gives you competitive interest rates, plus tax advantages, and is flexible enough to change as your life changes, to give you the kind of blanket protection you need throughout your life.
Nationwide is on your side.
We are back with Washington leading 14-7, 4:34 to go here in the first half. Let's go outside the stadium to James Brown.
All right, standing outside of RFK Stadium here, I think it's safe to assume that there are no middle-of-the-roaders as far as this strike between the NFL players and owners here, the management. But here's a man, Mr. Alfonso Moore, who's had tickets since 1961, and he's been a season ticket holder ever since the stadium opened. And why are you out here supporting the Redskins?
Because I feel that the Redskins should be here. Not people that not the Redskin players, but Redskin players.
Even though there's an exciting brand of football taking place inside.
There is an exciting brand. Those aren't players. Those are people who were cut. If they couldn't make it otherwise, how can they play now?
All right, the cut players are giving the fans some exciting action on the inside. Let's go back to Tim.
All right, James. Earl Farrell picks up about 5 yards. And we apologize for the lack of color in the last picture you saw of James Brown outside, as we had a little technical problem with that particular camera. 3rd and 1 to go here at the 21-yard line. As you see the difference here, we've been talking about the Cardinals' effective rushing attack. Only 13 rushing yards for the Redskins, but they've produced the passing attack for the points. Sargent stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Number 98, Steve Martin from Jackson State, tripped him up, and he'll be close to the first down. Needed to get to the 20-yard line. And it's just short, about 6 inches. 4th down. Gene Stallings has indicated they will go for it, but now they've asked for a measurement, and they will get it.
Well, that's a coach's way. What that is that's a quarterback and a coach's way of taking a little more time to see what kind of decision you want to make. You're allowed the opportunity to bring the sticks out when it's close enough. I've done it at times when I wanted to change momentum in the game. A lot of times, you just use it to your advantage. I think Gene's looking here. He wants to see how far they have to go. It's got to be worth the gamble. Obviously, his kicking game hasn't produced any points for him because they've already missed a field goal, so he figures, why try a 37-yard field goal when you've got 6 inches to go for a first down?
They are going to go for it.
And when you've rushed for 125 yards.
Well, they have been beating up the middle of this young Redskin replacement team defensive line. No question about it. Benish has had to do most of the work himself. And Halloran dives for the first down. The Cardinals inside the 20. And in scoring position again with 3:20 and counting down in the first half. Redskins leading 14-7, and the Cardinals would like to even it up before they head into the locker room at halftime. Tim Ryan and Joe Theismann watching this brand today of NFL football as advertised. Joe Gibbs has to be pleased with the effort of young Ed Rubert. There was talk that we would see Tony Robinson in this game, the quarterback from Tennessee. He joined the team last week and has looked impressive in practice the last couple of days prior to the game, but so far it's been Rubert and Halloran. Now this time Farrell is dropped for a loss. Eric Wilson, the linebacker, and Tony Settles the right side linebacker from Clemson, number 91.
That's a little bit of what our fans are going to see next week when Oklahoma takes a field. Little wishbone operation. You fake to the fullback into the line, pitch to the halfback, and like any smart quarterback, when you play professional football, you don't want to keep the ball in an option. You give it to the other guy.
I recall you running with it a few times. There's more glory with a nice run than pitching it off.
Yeah, but there's more pain, too.
Second and 12. Sean Halloran from Boston College. Swings it out for Farrell, and Farrell runs through 2 tacklers, but not the next 2. Linebacker David Wyndham, number 58, got him. Loss of about another yard on the play. And we've reached the 2-minute warning with the Redskins on top 14-7.
You know, it's funny. When I tell people I really do use Prel, they don't believe me. They think that because I'm a model, I have a bathroom full of hairdressers or something. The truth is, I really love what it does to my hair. It gives my hair body and fullness. You really should try it yourself. You'll love it. And if you don't, they'll give you your money back. Your hair's worth at least that, right?
You gotta be tough to keep 45 bears in line. But even us tough guys like a little extra comfort underneath. And that's why I switched from ordinary underwear to Hanes. I like the soft touch of Hanes pure cotton t-shirts and the smooth fit of Hanes comfort weave waistbands. Now I'm as nice to be around as a teddy bear. Right, guys? I said, right, guys? Right, Coach.
It's not just underwear. It's Hanes.
Why is this man breathing like he left his cold at someone else's house? Taking the time to read a book instead of reaching for a tissue. Relaxing in his favorite chair with muscles that no longer ache. Laughing instead of coughing. Resting instead of suffering. Why? Because instead of taking a cold tablet, he took NyQuil. A nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever so you can rest medicine. Now a new cherry flavor, too.
What? Back here at RFK Stadium, 2 minutes remaining first half, and the Cardinals threatening here as they trail by 7, and so far, pretty interesting football game.
It is pretty interesting football. Actually, it's a pretty good football game. I got to believe that the guys sitting outside this stadium are hoping that the guys inside can win this one, so when they do get a chance to get back, they're not another game in the hole.
I don't think you could, if you pull those players outside, you wouldn't find one who doesn't want these B-team Redskins to beat the B-team Cardinals today. They'd be silly to have any other attitude. Third down and 14. Halloran forced out of bounds, under pressure. Joe Cofer, the man to drive him out, and a loss back now close to the 30-yard line. So it'll be 4th down for the Cardinals. Onto the field comes Jason Starobski, the Tulsa place kicker.
Now the last one he kicked straight and end over end. The first 2 went a little hard right on him. So I got to be honest with you, if I'm the head coach, this is the most questionable thing that I'm looking at is will this happen?
A 46-yard attempt for Starobski. That's going to be short and wide. So the Cardinals come up empty with 1:48 still to play in the first half. And the Redskins will have the football and the lead.
It's got to be a little deja vu for Coach Stallings. Last week against San Diego, he had trouble with his kicking game. Couldn't get the job done. Now here it's a week later. He doesn't have the same players, but he's got the same problem. Trouble with his kicking game.
Gene Stallings has been most concerned about the attitude between his players if and when the remainder of the regulars return, and I'm sure all of the coaches around the league are concerned about that. There may be some virtue in having the entire roster stay out in the hopes that they'll all be back for next week. At least that feeling of solidarity and unity and good spirit between them. And coaches have got some players in, while it may be an advantage in the meantime, have to be concerned about relations between the players when the rest of them return.
I think relations between the players is a paramount concern because they have to have one job and they have to be focused to go out and win football games. And if you've got guys infighting, it doesn't help your football team at all.
Lionel Vitale picked up 2, and he has it again with a lot of running room. A little draw play, and Vitale has a first down out to the 40-yard line. Tony Mays made the stop. An 8-yard pickup.
Redskins called timeout. Looked like they wanted to run the clock out. Now they've run it, but now they've got some pretty good field position. Now they'll figure, okay, let's see if we can put the ball up. They've only rushed for 13 yards, so they may as well give it a try. Don Breaux in the white cap, Joe Gibbs with the headset on the left, Charlie Taylor in the foreground talking to Ed Rupert.
Ed Rupert was signed by the Redskins following the 1987 draft, but he was waived back on August 31st before being re-signed when the strike was called. He threw for 5,496 yards in his career with the Louisville Cardinals. And in his 9 games as a senior a year ago, he connected on 103 of 210 passes for 1,300 yards from New City, New York. And coming up at halftime, Brent and Will McDonough will be in our New York studio, and there'll be lots for them to talk about the events of this day, both inside and outside the stadiums. And a special report from our James Brown right here in Washington. He'll be outside RFK and have the latest on activities out there on the picket line. First down. Rupert running the ball and has another first down for the Redskins over midfield to the 49-yard line of St. Louis, where E.J. Jr. and Jimmy Carter combined on the stop.
This is the most exciting time for a quarterback. I feel like the 2-minute offense. You're in charge out on the field. Now Rupert, he's getting an education in playing the position of quarterback. How does he handle it?
Rupert has Allen open. First down to the 20-yard line. Anthony Allen having a lot of fun out here this afternoon. Mark Jackson made the stop, number 21. 27-yard gain. 20 seconds left to play first half. Rupert calling the signals on the field.
He better hurry up. He's communicating, but he's got to get it out.
Intended for Vitale, and the first really bad ball thrown by Rupert all day long, but he did get the clock stopped, and a flag is down with 9 seconds remaining.
Well, as they jog down the field, Joe Gibbs, first of all, signaled to Ed Rupert, go ahead, run the play. Then as Rupert moved towards the line, he tried to get him to call a timeout. Obviously, there's enough fans in here to make it so that the coaches can't communicate verbally, and Rupert was involved in getting the play off, so he took probably 10, 11 seconds more than Coach Gibbs would have liked.
Number 62. We're taking the play.
2 timeouts remaining for the Redskins. The ball at the 31-yard line. And a first down and 20 for Washington.
You know, it's scary when you get a bunch of young guys together and they start doing things right. A lot of things can happen. And that's one thing the Cardinals have to be concerned with. These guys may not have played a lot, but they're playing well together.
And the tight end, Craig McEwen, to the 25-yard line, and 1 second remaining on the clock when Rupert got the timeout called, so they'll have one more play.
And here we are, the exciting time in football in Washington, a field goal attempt.
Well, you remember those automatic days with Mark Mosley. Really, they haven't had anything automatic since then.
No, and then when Jess Atkinson started to get automatic, he wound up getting hurt. So, you know, Coach Gibbs had a problem when Mark Mosley, when I got hurt, actually, Mark Mosley had a little bit of a problem. Not that I was the reason, but he did have problems. Then they managed to get it solved a little bit with Jess Atkinson. Now, all of a sudden, they're back to square one again with the replacement teams.
Brendan Tobin, it's pronounced, but that is a Gaelic spelling. He is not Italian, I can assure you. Brendan Tobin from the University of Richmond, and has been playing with the Richmond Ravens in semi-pro ball. And he is the Washington Redskin kicker, at least today. From the 32-yard line, a 42-yard attempt. While holding, and it is wide to the right. So we have completed the first half here at RFK. It's been an entertaining 30 minutes of play. The Redskins 14, the Cardinals 7.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Subaru and by Owens Corning. Our building products put your house in the pink.
Experience a new dimension in sight and sound. Now every sight, every sound, every performance in the theater of life is yours. Trust RCA to bring it to you on the ultimate audio-video system, Dementia, only from RCA, the most trusted name in electronics. In Canada, the rapids run a little stronger. Some people say you can taste it in the beer. Molson Golden. Molson is Canadian beer.
This water damage is going to run $750. What would have stopped it?
Thompson's Water Seal protects wood, brick, and concrete with its special waterproofing formula. Thompson's Water Seal, a great defense against repair expense.
CBS Sports presents College Football 1987.
In a tremendous hole as he breaks free. Moving Humphrey loose. They won't catch it. Folks, this is North versus the South. This is as good as it gets. This is like a civil war. The crowd will tell you this story.
The #1 team in the nation, Oklahoma, battles longtime nemesis Texas in one of the sport's most celebrated rivalries next Saturday on CBS Sports.
Welcome back to New York, everybody. I'm Brent Musburger along with Will McDonough. Will, somewhat ironic that the least competitive game of the day is the one that is featuring the most regular players in the National Football League. The Los Angeles Rams and the New Orleans Saints. Between them, some 25% of their regular rosters, and the Saints have climbed all over the Rams, 27-0. Big block punt here, Will. Bills quarterbacking the Rams. John Forquet doing a good job in the first half for the Saints. Pittsburgh and Atlanta. The score in that game is 14-3. The Steelers with the lead in the second quarter. Tampa Bay and Detroit. Now the Lions scored 17 unanswered points. Then the Bucks down. Here's Hans back again. Great play
catch.
moments ago.
What a great catch.
You know, actually, I don't want to really overhype this. So what's your feeling? You and I have been watching the whole fabric of the league in these games. What's your feeling about it, Will?
Well, they've been very competitive so far, most of the games. You know, what you see is most of the mistakes are occurring on the simple things like the handoffs, the snaps from centers, where people show their nervousness.
Do you think the games are better than we expected?
Oh, I think so. People didn't think these guys could catch, run, and throw. They can do that. You know, some of them have been in the NFL before.
All right, now, back to that scoreboard. The Colts, Gary Hogeboom, the veteran,
went out and got the players and got ready for the strike for the teams that are winning.
Well, I want to ask you, because in the pregame we reported that teams were going to come in masse next week, that virtually the strike is ending as you see it. I know you've had a telephone contact with the Players Association. Their reaction to your story?
Well, I called up Doug Allen, the Player Association. I said rumors are busting out all around the country that you guys are going to have a meeting tomorrow and maybe you're going to toss it in the strike. He said, we got a meeting tomorrow. It's in Chicago, but we're not tossing it in. It's a regularly scheduled meeting. All the player reps. We're going to sit down and assess our position, assess the damage, and then tell the players we're trying to get Jesse Jackson to come in and help out our cause.
All right. We will continue with our coverage here on CBS right after these messages from your local stations.
A mystery surrounds a psychotic thief with more on his mind than money.
There is a high potential for violence.
You saying he could kill somebody? Houston, nice.
Police!
Then on Jake and the Fat Man. You killed my friend. Can a seductive killer drive Jake to the edge? Jake is out of control.
I don't want him blowing it.
And Ellen finds a little romance.
You followed me.
In case you didn't notice, I just saved you from that creephole. And Harry finds her in danger. The Law and Harry McGraw, Tuesday.
This is CBS.
In Washington, D.C., for the past 20 years, there's been a conspiracy. A conspiracy to keep you from hearing innovative, stimulating, fresh music. Music too good for radio. Now, the conspiracy has ended.
Quietly powerful, 106.7 WBMW, Washington's radio for a new age.
Into the mystery of Martini and Rossi Rosso. Of Rosso by Martini and Rossi. Intriguing, unexpected, mysterious. It's waiting to be discovered.
Next time, fly the Pan Am Shuttle. We make it easier on you. Easy check-in. Comfortable seating. And 90% of our flights leave on time. So fly the Pan Am Shuttle. We make it easier on you.
Glenn Brenner with complete coverage of the strike. Monday on Eyewitness News.
Back at RFK Stadium, the Washington Redskins lead the St. Louis Cardinals 14-7 at halftime on a breezy, cool afternoon here in Washington. Tim Ryan with Joe Theismann, and most of the action in the first half offensively for the Redskins, the kind of action that you like because you had a young quarterback throwing the heck out of the football, and 2 touchdown passes, Ed Rubert to Anthony Allen.
Well, when you can't run the football, what you got to do is put it in the air. Anthony Allen made some nice moves, some great catches, and Rupert's just hung in there. Had the full blitz on the first one. The second time he split a double zone. He's performing quite well as the plays go. I am impressed with the way the entire team has handled themselves, and you have to give the coaches a lot of credit. Here's the first one. The Cardinals bring everybody, blitz them. Allen makes a little move inside, and Rupert just hangs the ball up in the air, and there it is, dropping in from the skies. Touchdown, Anthony Allen. That's his first one. Now you turn around, that was against man-to-man coverage. This next time, he comes back in the pocket and does what we used to call a dash or a half roll, slides on out to the right, sets himself, makes an excellent throw, just gets it over Leonard Smith's arms, and Anthony Allen now is off to the races again.
88 yards, this one, and I think without really knowing it for sure, but feeling fairly secure in making this statement, Dan Henning must have had something to do with the acquisition of Anthony Allen. He played for the Atlanta Falcons. That's where Henning was last year, of course, as head coach. Allen arrived on Friday about the same time we did, as I said earlier. About the same time. Came into practice for the first time as a Redskin on Friday. And Dan Henning obviously had told Joe Gibbs about this guy's young man. They got him quickly into the offense. And here he comes up with 2 big touchdown receptions to give the Redskins a 14-7 lead. Now, in terms of the St. Louis performance, a good running attack using Farrell and Sargent effectively with young quarterback Sean Halloran. They're still very much in this football game, trailing 14-7 as we head into the second half. Well, some of the fans here are getting into the spirit of this thing in very expensive ways. This is a section in the stand, section 230 to be exact. Frank Cooley is celebrating his 50th birthday. His 50th consecutive season as a Redskin season seat owner, which makes him over 50, I would think. There's a class act. He's treating his whole section to champagne here today. I'm sure he wishes it was a Super Bowl game, or at least the real Redskins playing, but he's got a nice sunny afternoon and an entertaining first half of football.
I got a question for you, Tim. What type of ducks are these?
These are not real ducks. These are replacement ducks. Yes, they are, yeah. Let's go outside the stadium to James Brown.
All right, Timmy, outside of the stadium, well, you mentioned the fact on the inside that the fans in there have been entertained by the replacement Redskins, while on the outside, the regular Washington Redskins are conducting what I guess could be called a day with the Redskins. It's kind of a rally on a grassy area about the length of 2 football fields away from RFK Stadium. A lot of Union supporters, a lot of fans who are sympathetic to the Redskins' cause are here. Darrell Green, the Redskins defensive back, is out here signing autographs, and Neil Okowitz, the Redskins player representative, is with me. Neil, has this been a success for you?
Oh, definitely, James. It's been great. All the unions have come out, supported us. The vendors we've asked to support us, and I think only 27 out of 450 crossed the picket line, so it's been great the whole day.
Many people are accustomed to you being on the field, playing very aggressively. They've seen a different side of you as the player rep, a real firm, determined Neil Okowitz.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've been put in this position, really, but, you know, it's something I believe in and something I'm willing to fight for.
Again, Gene Upshaw supposedly meeting tomorrow with you guys to discuss lessening his demands on free agency. Is that a fact?
It's very possible. I'm going to wait till we actually talk to him tomorrow, but we want to negotiate. Whatever it takes to negotiate, we're going to try it. And then if they don't negotiate, it's obvious what's going on.
All right, from Neil Olkowitz's standpoint, the day with the Redskins out here with their supporting fans, trying to keep others from going inside has been a success. Let's go back inside to Tim and Joe.
All right, James, inside 14-7 Redskin lead. And now, remember, this game counts. This is not just an exhibition out here, because it will go into the standings as, indeed, if the A team, the real Redskins, the real Cardinals, were playing. Now, they came into this game all tied up at 1 apiece in this very competitive division before the season began. It was hard to pick the winners in this division, Joe.
It really was. You wouldn't have suspected. If anything, you'd think this thing would be reversed with the Giants 2-0, not 0-2. Philadelphia is still trying to find themselves. The Cowboys were at the crossroads, and now they're starting to play better football. This game is very pivotal. I've got to believe that the guys outside want these guys inside to win. They'd rather be here, but if they can't, they've got to keep the ball moving for them.
Certainly true of the Cardinals looking in on television back in St. Louis as well. CBS Sports coverage of the NFL will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
This whole situation's running me ragged. I just found out I can't add any phones onto my new phone system. So now I've got 4 real estate agents working off the same desk on the same phone. I hate to think how much business I'm losing.
Practice till it can't get any smoother. That's what it takes to be the best in your class. But when you finally got it all together, when your heart and your hands win everybody over, there's nothing sweeter. Wild Irish Rose knows that feeling. We've been the best in our class for over 30 years.
Pick the winner, pick the rose, pick the one everybody knows.
Oh, Stetson.
Next. Beautiful. Oh! It's so hard to get good help these days.
Gotcha. The sport.
Next.
How did you get up here?
In the amazing Isuzu Trooper 2. Of course, near the top, I did have to shift into 4-wheel drive. Want to buy it?
No, we're supposed to walk.
Can it take all of us?
No sweat.
Are you sure about this?
You have my word on it.
The rugged Trooper 2 from Isuzu.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Liberty Mutual for your personal insurance, business insurance, and financial service needs. And by Northwest. Look who gives you more of the world from more of the USA. Look to Northwest.
Tim Ryan and Joe Theismann looking at the band here at RFK Stadium. And if it looks like a bright, beautiful afternoon here, it is. But it is also quite cool and very breezy if you're looking in warmer parts of the country where we understand the weather around the country is basically hot and sunny. It's certainly sunny here today, but very, very cool. Just a week ago, it was about 90 degrees here in Washington. But today, temperatures in the low 50s. The Redskins will kick it off from right to left, and Brendan Tobin will be the kicker. Wearing number 8, and deep for the Cardinals is number 36, Val Sikahema. That ball goes out of bounds. Brendan Tobin from the University of Richmond. Cardinals will start 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line.
See the quarterbacks for today. Halloran, 6 out of 10, 79 yards. No touchdowns, no interceptions. Rupert, Rupert is 9 for 14, 210 yards and no interceptions and 2 TDs. Now that's a heck. I'd take that for a game, not for a half.
Farrell on first down for the Cardinals as the Cardinals go right back to what worked for them well in the first half. It produced only 7 points, but they used up a lot of clock time. They had 22 minutes of playing time in the first half to only 8 minutes for the Washington Redskins. Steve Thompson made the tackle there.
That's a very discouraging thing for a coach, too, to have the ball 22 minutes of the 30 in the first half, come away with just 7 points, and be down by 7.
2nd and 5 for the Cardinals at their own 24-yard line. Out to the right comes Ron Brown. Now, Roy Green has not returned to the game since limping off following a long pass attempt to him. Halloran's pass intended for Brown. Brown cut inside. The ball went outside. Bobby Curtis had the rush on Halloran. On the outside for the Washington defense, the linebacker number 90.
J.T. Smith, who went out earlier in the first half with a ankle problem, is back in the football game. You know, we talked about before with J.T. Smith and Roy Green in the game. You got Farrell, you've got Sargent, all these veterans, these A players. You still have to have a guy get them the football, and that has been the problem for the Cardinals. They haven't had the quarterback to get them the ball.
3rd down and a long 5. Halloran up the middle, and J.T. Smith makes the catch and has a first down. St. Louis out to their 34-yard line, and the word on Green is that he aggravated that hamstring pull that he came into this game with and will not return. They tried to go deep to him twice in the first quarter. Were very, very close each time. And after the second attempt, he went off limping and we're told will not be back. Charles Jackson made the tackle on the last play, but the Cardinals have a first down at their 35-yard line. Farrell again. He's had a lot of work. Farrell grinds out another 5 yards, forced out of bounds by Steve Thompson. That's his 18th carry of the afternoon for 50 yards. Earl Farrell. 71 yards against Dallas earlier in this abbreviated season. Has produced his best effort, tying his best previous effort, and today he could well go over that, but I suppose he'll put an asterisk next to it.
I don't think, you know, they said they weren't going to. They said they're going to count this.
I don't mean literally, but I think
mental one, just a mental dot.
It's going to be pretty hard not to. Just short of the first down. There's Green with the windbreaker on, encouraging his teammates. But he will not be back today, the veteran.
Jim Schaffner to his left, and of course Gene Stallings to Schaffner's left. So the brain trust of the Cardinals. There's Jim Schaffner looking out, trying to figure out what he's going to do. I talked to him early. He said, you know, it was tough enough to explain to my players what to do and who they were going up against, but I had to worry about who I was talking to because I had to learn their names.
I'm sure that's been the case.
It has.
Around the league. Second and very short at the 45-yard line of St. Louis. They trail 14-7. Farrell has the first down and then some. Out to midfield. Tripped up by Steve Thompson. Wilson getting in on the tackle as well. And look at the Bears in Philadelphia, 35-3 at halftime. There will be a very unhappy Buddy Ryan in the locker room at this point.
It must have been Ditka's cigar. That was the only constant going into the locker room at 6 a.m. this morning. When the matter of fact, I wouldn't want to play either one of those guys getting up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning to get into the stadium.
I bet they had to wake him up again. Literally, I heard they took sleeping bags apparently with them. First down, Cardinals. Play action and a rush on. Halloran did a good job to get it off. And will they rule it a sack? Yes. He was in the grab. Steve Martin, number 98 from Jackson State.
I don't agree with that at all. I just don't agree. I really feel like they have to give a quarterback an opportunity to unload the football. That man had one hand on it. Okay, you'll see the play action fake. He makes the fake here. Now, there you see Martin coming around. Now, he's got a chance to get rid of that football. He's not down. I mean, he's getting rid of the football. He's doing a job as a football player.
So what you're saying is you disagree with the rule because he was in the grab.
Yeah, but I absolutely
disagree with that call.
That's right.
The call was good, but you don't like
the rule is bad.
Okay. Second down. Intended for Brown, and that is tipped away. linebacker David Wyndham got a hand on it, and it'll bring up 4th down for St. Louis. Make it 3rd down, pardon me, 3rd down still for the Cardinals at their own 39-yard line.
This is one of those, you know, you're a young quarterback. Halloran's just getting out in there. He's got his cheat sheet on. It's 3rd down and 20. I'll guarantee you they don't have too many 3rd down and 20s written down on his wrist. That's one where you wait for the coach to send one in.
Wide to the right comes Troy Johnson, other of the regulars who returned over the weekend.
Here they come.
And that one is blocked at the line of scrimmage. Incomplete pass. And it might have been Skip Lane, Lane or Jackson, Charles Jackson, number 37, who got a hand on it. Well, that brings up 4th down.
You know, your offensive line runs into all kind of problems when they start to blitz people. You're unfamiliar with the communication of who to block. Normally, there's 1 or 2 players that aren't blocked, and in this instance, they just had some people with their hands up in the quarterback's face.
Mark Royal, 2nd punt of the afternoon, a pretty good one. Comes down at the 23-yard line. Derek Shepard. Shepard breaks loose down the sideline. He already returned one earlier in this game. 78 yards, and that one is 29.
She's going to Hong Kong. Hong Kong? Hong Kong. Free. 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 I hate her.
No frequent flyer program gives you Asia faster.
The money that you spent on calls to your mother last month, you could have gone to visit her.
Okay, dear. I'll leave tomorrow.
Northwest can fly you to your mom, your aunt, or distant cousins, affairs that can make flying cheaper than talking.
Ready to quarterback a scoring drive of your own? Go with NFL Armchair Quarterback, the TV football game that's got everyone playing along with the pros. Call the plays during the game, and if you're right, it'll add up to victory. NFL Armchair Quarterback includes everything you need to play along with any live football game. So don't just be a watcher, be a winner. Get NFL Armchair Quarterback or you'll miss the big game of the season. Available at Kmart, Toys R Us, and other fine stores everywhere.
For 75 years, Liberty Mutual has shown companies like IBM, companies like General Mills, companies like Ramada Inns, and thousands of others how to make their workers' compensation dollars work harder. As a result, they've made Liberty Mutual the largest insurer of America's working men and women.
As we spoke earlier, the special teams play in this game is probably the one that's going to be the most obvious. Here you see Derek Shepard take it. Now, you see how the Cardinals are all bunched together? They're not holding their lanes. He does a fine job of splitting, but then he does some excellent running with the football. Now, that's the good news. He picks up a lot of yardage. The bad news is the Redskins really don't need a kick returner. They've got Eric Yarber. So, I mean, it's great to go out and do great things, but the prospects of getting a job after this is over aren't too good.
Well, maybe he's going to impress somebody else. That's what so many of these players are hoping to do. They may only have this opportunity today, depending on the progress of the strike. Lionel Vitale, and a good defensive job by the Cardinals there. It was Noga. Peter Noga made the stop, but Tony Buford, number 50, came in and stacked up the blocker, and that gave Peter Noga the opportunity to make the tackle, and we'll tell you more about Noga in a moment. But a reminder that next Saturday, the Oklahoma teammates, many of them former teammates of Derek Shepard's, will be playing Texas in our college football action live, 2:30 Eastern Time. Number 1 ranked Oklahoma against their great rivals from Texas, the Longhorns, 2:30 Eastern Time. 2nd down, a loss of about 1.5 yards on that last play. And a quick pass off for McEwen, incomplete. The rush on, and there's Noga again. Now, Peter Noga, perhaps the most interesting story of the players who are on this replacement team of the Cardinals, because his brother Nico Noga is the starting linebacker, wears number 57, went to the University of Hawaii where his brother followed him, and where indeed their youngest brother Al is now a rising college football star. Nico didn't know that Peter was planning on crossing the picket line. And Peter Noga came over as one of the replacement players, got his brother's jersey, and all Nico could say, well, if somebody's going to wear my jersey, I'm glad it's my brother. Third down, in about 11. The pass to McEwen, and he had it, dropped it, and it'll be incomplete. Craig McEwen made the catch, but did not maintain possession long enough.
The fans have been cheering most of this football game, but they've sort of been waiting for that one reason to express their inner feelings. And they would say, okay, well, if that was Clint Didier, he'd make the catch. You know, Tim, probably if anybody in this entire strike situation is going to benefit in any way, it could well be the Redskins, because they were a very beat-up football team. They had a lot of their starters out. Here we go again.
Jack Weil missed the snap and does a good job to get this one away. Takes the Redskin down. And comes down to the 12-yard line. Flags are down, however.
As I was saying.
Well, Joe, that would normally be a safe place to tell something like
yes,
you were about to.
I was thinking that was the perfect opportunity. I know, I forgot. Welcome to Australian rules football, folks. Here we are. Let's run around a little bit and then kick it. Obviously, there might have been some ineligible guys downfield. Wouldn't you think? Like the entire team left before the ball was kicked. But anyway, the Redskins are going to probably get help from this, because they're going to get some of their injured players healthier a little bit sooner in the year than they might anticipate.
Ineligible downfield, kicking team, repeat 4th down.
Well, Jerry Seaman, the referee, indicated that much of the kicking team, he didn't single anybody out.
It's a good snap. It's a bad catch. Now, this is where it gets interesting. He does an excellent job of fielding it. Starts, no, I'm not going to kick that. Wait a second. And now, he gets it off. Almost.
Well, now we're back live, and this one from Jack Wheel, it's pronounced, comes down inside the 30, so this will be well upfield. They down it outside the 30-yard line at the 32-yard line. Jack Wheel from Wyoming was cut by the Denver Broncos earlier. Well, we've been talking about the number of Cardinals who are here. There are actually 13 in uniform, 7 starters. Next today on CBS in our doubleheader action, the team with the most returnees, the Dallas Cowboys, will take on the New York Jets. Stay tuned for more NFL replacement ball. Earl Farrell met at the line of scrimmage and dropped for no gain on the play by Eric Wilson, who's a pumped-up young middle linebacker today for Washington. Drafted by Green Bay in 1985, had a shot with Buffalo, trying to impress Joe Gibbs and his staff.
You know, a lot of those players that have crossed the line, something ought to be stated too. There are a lot of guys on injured reserve that have gone in for treatments that actually are not going to play on the field, but they are in camp to get treatment, so therefore they're counted as a part of the roster.
Second down, long 9, Halloran. It is caught and down, but the pass is complete. Troy Johnson, the ball deflected off 2 Washington defenders.
I'll tell you, I wouldn't want to be responsible for putting together a highlight package from these games. It could be an hour special.
That is first down play for the Cardinals. Watch this one bounce around.
There's Halloran back in the pocket now. He gets a good job of protection, which has been a problem. He fires it. It should be intercepted. This is intercepted. No, it's not. Yes, it is. It's a completion. You can have it. I don't want it. It's all right by me.
That went off Mitchell, and then the linebacker Wyndham. Now deep downfield, Johnson has it to the 5-yard line. Troy Johnson. Halloran to Troy Johnson, and that is Charles Jackson down and hurt. This line trailing 14-7 here in the third period, and are threatening to tie things up. We've had problems with the kicking game, and apparently, according to Brent, that's been universal around the league today. 4 missed field goals in this game. Roy Green had 2 long passes thrown to him early, near touchdowns, but neither one caught. On the second try, he aggravated his already injured hamstring muscle and had to leave the game as not returned. Meanwhile, Anthony Allen for the Redskins has caught 2 touchdown passes from a quarterback by the name of Ed Rubert from Louisville, a free agent who has had himself a fine afternoon playing in the spot normally held down by Jay Schrader and Doug Williams. Joe Theismann, the big play by Sean Halloran, the St. Louis quarterback from Boston College, just moments ago, has them at the 5.
The Redskins have wanted to start blitzing to shut down the running